Welcome to the Transformation Institute's podcast for change. Here is our host, OMARI JAHI Aton.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, OMARI JAHI. We welcome you to our Transformation Institute podcast. This is, we kind of started this in October. So sometime this month, we'll be doing this for a whole year, y'all. And we're going to do something special. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have something special for our year's anniversary. But tonight we're going to be discussing emotional intelligence. And we want to talk about who has it, what is it, why do we need it? We're going to go into all of that because so many people have been talking about this thing called emotional intelligence. You know, I've been seeing on YouTube a lot of videos where young ladies are saying they want a man with emotional intelligence. You know, and I understand it's two words, emotions and intelligence. But tonight we're going to figure out what that really means. I want you to welcome the rest of the crew. My co-host, we got Will, Darlene, Kim, Brenda, Vanessa, and my man V-Mont.
I can't hear. I don't know what's going on.
You can't hear nothing? Oh my God. But anyway, welcome guys to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. Emotional intelligence, y'all. What is it? Oh, Will had fell out. Wait, we got to get Will back in here. What is emotional intelligence? You know, I know what emotions is, and I know what being intelligent is. You know, and I've always, now this is just me. You all tell me what you guys think. I've always thought that emotions was one thing and intelligence was another thing. And what I mean by that is that if you're very emotional, you're not being very intelligent or rational. You see what I'm saying? And if you're a very rational person, you're not normally very emotional, you know. So I don't know if this emotional intelligence things means that you have to be intelligent with some feeling or some emotions. I guess that's what that's all about. I don't know. What do you guys think that's all about? Emotional intelligence. Now, I got the definition. We're going to bring it up. But just before we bring it up, what do you guys think emotional intelligence is?
Well, I thought it was the same, two different words. I was always told or under the impression that a woman or female is very emotional. Mm-hmm. And intelligence is a separate word, meaning like smart or, you know. So right. I put them together. I did not put the two words together until now.
Oh, well, you like me then, because I had no clue what emotional, again, they're on two different spectrums to me. So, what do you guys think, Brenda? What do you think it means to you? I can hear you, Kim. You still can't hear us? Oh, you're on mute, Brenda. We can't hear you.
Just because you're intelligent doesn't necessarily make you have emotions. I don't know. I didn't read all the stuff on that you sent us. Forgive me. But emotional intelligence, I can see why it could be combined that when you're emotional, not to go to an extreme, to use some smarts about it. So, because some people who's too extremely emotional might harm themselves or harm someone else. So I understand supposedly that we should be emotionally intelligent. I do understand that, but we all know that you can be intelligent and have no emotions at all. There's people like that. They don't, nothing bothers them, nothing touches their hearts, but they're intelligent people. So I don't know, did you say that you thought they were different and now they're the same? Is that what you're saying? or
Yeah.
we're going to find out that they are different, or are we going to find out that they're exactly the same? Because I just can't get with they're the same. Okay.
Right. No, to me, they're two separate different things, but
Oh,
according to how people are using them, it's like it's something together, it's like it's a personality that deals with being emotional and intelligent. I've never heard of it, because an emotional person is very emotional, and like I said, normally intelligence ain't a part of the situation when you're dealing with emotional intelligence. But I got the
yeah, but I can
definition.
see that as a part. Yeah, I can see that as a part. You gotta deal with your emotions intelligently. I think you need to.
I think that's going to be it, Brenda. But check this out. I got it right here. It says emotional intelligence, also known as EI, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, and to recognize, understand, and effectively influence the emotions of others.
Mm,
Now that's kind of tripped out. How do
yeah,
you affect the emotion? I don't get that. How do you affect the
right.
emotions of other people?
Of others,
Now,
right.
yeah, I understand recognizing your emotions, or if you're being emotional, recognizing that, and getting control of it. That's kind of what you were saying, right, Brenda?
Right, right.
But then it's saying affecting, what did it say? Affecting the emotions of others?
Of
It said,
others. Understand and effectively influence the emotions of others.
see, that sounds like some manipulation stuff to me. I mean, that's just me.
But
When you're influencing somebody else's feelings. You see what I'm saying?
But can that go both ways though? Like if you emotional upset, you can actually affect somebody else emotional. And if you got positive energy going on, then you can change someone else emotion.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. Like everything is energy. And so your energy can affect someone else's energy like that, as far as like, your emotions being able to control someone else's emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So positive or negative. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Positively, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So now
it was talking about it was acting as if we effectively like help them to be better in their emotions. I don't know if everybody necessarily can do that, because you know how it is when somebody's really emotional and then someone comes over and try to talk to them sanely, and they really already far gone, then that other person can tend to go far left too. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I was just trying to, help you, but
yeah, then they snap out and they crash out just as bad as the person that you trying to help.
Right.
But I mean, now they had these 5 points. Now check this out. This is one of the points they said is the first one is personal competence, which deals with self-focus or self-awareness. And okay, I can get to all that. Being aware of yourself or your emotions, basically. It says that's the ability to recognize and correctly understand your own emotions, your own needs, your drives, your values, and goals, as well as their effect on others. This is the function of all emotional intelligence.
Foundation.
I'm sorry. I said focus. This is the foundation of all emotional intelligence. So, if being self-aware, I mean, are we? Because see, to me, it sounds like this is something that they use, that psychologists use. Are we capable individuals to be able to identify? We emotional, we snapping out. And are we capable of being able to control our emotions? When we see it, we going off the deep end, we can just pull ourselves in. Is that what they're saying?
I think it's talking about that we should try to, and that I mean, it with us talking about transformation for change and stuff. I guess this is my theory, we're talking about it to help others who only have heard the words emotional intelligence, but doesn't really know a meaning of it. Because, there's a lot of people that listens to social media, hear stuff, talk about it a little bit, but don't really know the depth of it. So I guess with us on this panel trying to discuss it, we are hoping that we get it and we kind of help put it out there, and so that people who are wilding out all the time, who has been doing that all their lives, may make a change. Right? Is that why we're discussing this tonight?
We're discussing it because, see, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I've heard women mostly use this terminology, and they use it to identify the kind of man that they want. I hear a lot of women talking about they want an emotional, intelligent man, right? And so I've always wondered, what do they mean when they say they want an emotional, intelligent man? And from that context, I'm thinking they're saying, I want a man that's intelligent but has control over his emotions. I think
they just want some emotions and some intelligence. I don't think they even put those together like that. I think they just want the man to be emotional and intelligent. I
guess it comes from, I don't know who said this, like most guys are really staunch and I think Darlene said it, I think, and really don't show their emotions. Everybody has emotions. That's one thing. Everybody has them. But most men usually kind of control their emotions, because we were brought up saying men don't cry. That's part of it, expressing an emotion, and I hear a lot of women saying that men they're kind of void of emotions. Well, most men are kind of void of emotions. What do you all think about that? V, I see you shaking your head. What you think about that?
Yeah, I was going to say it's more. I don't think that's what we learning about now, how to control them. And I think more the control we avoid, just like you said, we push our emotions down. Mm-hmm. We if you controlling your emotions, you can have emotions, but you're controlling it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go off the deep end, or you know what I mean. It's okay to express yourself and your emotions. It's actually a healthy thing to do, yes. But without not allowing your emotions to control you, and that's a total difference in us like pushing down our emotions, like you just said, being told all our lives, men don't cry, men ain't supposed to be like this, men ain't supposed to be like that. And to me, just in my experience and experiencing other men I grew up with and stuff like that backfires because, at some point, them emotions gonna come out.
Yes.
Nah, they gonna come out in a constructive way or a very bad way. You know what I mean? A constructive way or a undestructive way.
Yeah,
right, destructive way. Thank you. I was looking for that, a destructive way.
Right.
And so, yeah,
man. I mean, because if you really think about it, if you're having a conversation with a person and that person starts snapping out, the normal reaction is the other person begins to snap out too, to match the person, fire with fire. And I think that's what we've been dealing with in a lot of our relationships, whether it's male, female, male, brotherhood, friends, female friends, whatever. We seem to match the energy. Whereas emotional intelligence allows you to deal with the conversation intelligently and not let your emotions force its way up to the front. Whereas now you just snapping off like the person. I think you said something, I think last week, V, about there was this story about this fool jumped out from around the corner and jumped on this wise man. And it was wrestling in the dirt and everything, and people came all out and they couldn't tell the difference who was the wise man and who was the fool, because they both was rolling around in the dirt looking like fools. You know, and that's I'm bringing that up to say that if we're in a conversation with a person and we both snapping out, nobody's winning, because everybody just snapping out. Somebody has to what's the word I'm looking for? Exhibit emotional intelligence to be able to calm the person that's snapping out down, rationally calm them down, and keep your own emotions calmed down to the point to where we can actually have a decent conversation. Somebody in the comments said, I'm sorry, go ahead, Vanessa.
So my perspective, it kind of touches on what V just talked about. I think it's more about not so much you exhibiting emotions, but your composure when you interact with someone. Maybe not just in an argument, but in any simple fashion, for me to be able to keep my head. Because like you said, when someone else is snapping out, am I supposed to snap out too? I think we show great strength when we can stay focused on whatever the issue is and fail to react, because that says a lot too about us, who we are, and it says a lot about what we will tolerate and what we won't tolerate. I'm not going to go back and forth with you if you're yelling and screaming, because I just don't have the energy or time. Now, the younger Vanessa, I got time. We got all the time in the world. But now it's crazy. And I think as you get older, all of this makes more sense. When you're younger, you tend to be a hothead. So I don't think young people probably grasp emotional intelligence as well as older people. Now, I'm not saying they don't, because there are some who will be like, yeah, I don't have time for that, and they just won't deal with it. But I don't think it's so much of just whenever we interact, because sometimes it's more about a lifestyle change. Because if I'm keeping my head clear and I'm always like calm and at peace when I talk to you, then that's something that I'm doing repeatedly, and I'm learning to act and move in this way. So it's more, it's a better foundation than if I just do it every now and then. Like if I'm talking to you today and I'm like, yeah, today's the day, I'm just going to go off. I'm about to give them what they want. Yeah, it's emotional intelligence. I think is more of a lifestyle thing. So once I decide this is how I'm going to move and act all the time, it's something that's permanent, and you're going to see that in me anytime you talk to me. Whereas if I'm a hothead all the time or most of the time, that's what you're going to know about me. So you're not going to tend to think I'm probably intelligent, because you're going to think I'm moved by my emotions all the time. And that's dangerous.
And a lot of people do. There are a lot of people that operate just off of emotions. So I guess my next question would have to be, because I think you said something, Vanessa. You said that when you get older, you tend to be like, hey, I ain't finna be dealing with that mess, because I'm too old for this, right? But I done seen a lot of old funky folks snapping out, acting ignorant as hell.
And that's gonna always be there. We're always gonna have some people who move a certain way. They may move that way all their lives. It's what they know, and they aren't thinking that anything is wrong with the way they move. And we talk about this all the time. If I don't think it's anything wrong with me, why would I change? But if I don't feel like the way I behave is wrong, why would I change? But when you kind of start growing and you see yourself differently and you see others differently, then you're going to start saying, I got to change this, or I need to change that perhaps, or I'm not going to be around people who behave this way because I just don't want to behave that way, and I don't want others to picture me behaving that way. So it's one of those things where, like I said, it's going to be more of a lifestyle thing that brings you the greatest emotional intelligence. I mean, it's going to be a time where we all probably lose it for something, and that's just being human. All humans operate on emotion, but there's a level.
Well, real quick, Darlene, I'm gonna come right to you. Darlene. So I guess we can agree on emotional intelligence is a choice. That's something that you choose to do based on, because there's some younger people that operate with emotional intelligence. So it's not for everybody. Now, is it maybe in the way that you're raised? You know, do we think it's based on just being being raised in a 2-parent household or something like that? Yeah, that's probably.
I
think.
Go ahead, Darlene. Now, Darlene wants to say something.
Yes, I think my perspective that when you said a lot of women's make that statement about emotional intelligence. So why are we just placing emotional, like someone snapping out or someone being aggressive or someone got to mature or self-control? Why it cannot be that women's or people maybe putting these two words together, thinking that a woman is, or a person, not just a woman, a person is in their feelings, and a person may want the other person to be more intellectual or more intelligent or more smart or understanding of their feelings. So they asking them or may say, hey, can you just see that in my feelings, or like a woman gave birth to a child and they very emotional. Do it mean that we really saying that they just aggressive or we snapping out, or could be emotional, just a breakdown, sadness or grieving? Can emotion be not just snapping out?
Right. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think that's another aspect of it. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's different aspects of this emotional intelligence. No, it's not just the snapping out. You're right. That is that emotional intelligence. Not even just a lady. A man would want, if he's talking with a lady and he wants her to see him when he's emotional about something, because you guys keep saying that women get more emotional, but a man who doesn't want to seem overly emotional, but he got some emotions, would want a lady to just see him. No, there's not an argument going on or anything, but just see me, see that I'm going through something, and be intelligent enough to see me. So I think that's another aspect of it. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Well, it is a good point. But as far as men don't show their emotions as much. Nowadays, men show their emotions a lot now, more so than they did in the past. And I believe that has a lot to do with how they were raised. You see what I'm saying? Men of my generation and maybe the generation after me, we don't show emotion. Well, we I mean, that's not our thing.
I'm sorry, but in your previous generation, a male would be emotional. They would come in and be more domestic. More women's was to be quiet in a box because the man was more emotional. A woman wasn't allowed to show her emotion. So how can we say that men in your time or before was not emotional and they were?
Well, I wouldn't say that we were emotional because women were more docile. In all actuality, if women didn't raise hell and things like that, there was no reason for a man to go off and show their emotions up. The only emotion that men showed back in my day were anger. If you pissed us off, you see anger. That's the only. You wouldn't see us crying at the show. You wouldn't see us feeling Well, we might feel
Anger can cause somebody to get smacked, right? That anger can cause someone to
most definitely.
be abused.
That's for reaching out and touching. Yes, most definitely. You know, but my point is that if men we aren't supposed to show our emotions, or we've been told that we're not to show our emotions, and there are men that were raised like that, and we don't show our emotions. So then, when a woman says she wants a man that's emotionally intelligent, that kind of goes in my mind. I'm thinking that deals with a person that can deal with a person's emotion without snapping out. I think that's what we were saying. Being able to deal with somebody, controlling your own emotions and dealing with somebody else's emotions, and kind of talking them off the edge or bringing them back to sanity. You know,
it also mean that I want a person to be sensitive to my feelings. So not so much of is maybe be intelligent or smart enough that maybe you need to be sensitive or
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. That's yeah. But dang, made me miss my thought. But for that is showing some intelligence if the man sees that. Well, oh my, people keep calling me. That is showing some intelligence. If that man sees that, you know, like he kind of gets quiet and starts to listen to her, whether he knows it or not, that's showing some intelligence. That's some smarts to see that, oh, I better shut up. I mean, I see that she's about to cry, or I see that this is upsetting her. I don't know why I'm getting all these calls. But yeah, so sometimes they learn emotional intelligence by mistake. They don't even know that they're learning it. They don't even know they're getting it. But I wanted to say something to your thing about back in the day. And we know, you know me, Tyrone, I know you don't like this, that I always say not everybody. But when you talk, the reason I have to say not everybody, because when you say back in the day, we men, but I know I had some uncles. I had a couple of uncles. My mom only had 3 brothers, but she has 6 sisters, and they were married. And I know some uncles that were in all of the categories. I know one uncle who I think died last year or year before from a broken heart from his wife dying years before. But he was I always thought he wasn't like my favorite uncle, but he was that uncle who showed, you know, all the emotions. You know, I saw him with his children, and when his sons went to play basketball or football, or with his daughter, his one only daughter, how he just came to the table. And you know, I was raised in a 2-parent family, and you know, so you tend to look at things that you don't see at home. They look better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying my uncle probably never fussed and, you know, cussed out my aunt, because my aunt was a character too. So I've never seen him do that though. I always just saw him showing things. And one of her oldest brother did the same thing with his wife. Then she had a brother in the middle that was a Hellcat, you know, that did a lot of crazy emotional loudness and you know, all of that. But yeah.
Now I would have to ask this question now, Brenda. Was your mother and her brothers raised by her mother?
The mother and their dad.
The dad was there too?
Yeah, my granddaddy was there until they got like older, because my uncles until they got like, I think the baby was maybe a teenager, a senior in high school or something when their dad left. But yeah, their dad was there. And when we visited them in Mississippi, they lived on the same road. My granddad only moved down the road, you know, so and the kids still had you know, interactions with him. But but I'll tell you this, my granddad was not emotional. I mean, I think he was. I think sometimes we can miss it when he had to try to act like he was stern all the time. He always had that face. But when we were grandkids growing up, and when they made us go sit down there with him, we were scared because he had the face, but he really wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think men did that too. They had to be like that, because if other men were like that, they had to be like that. I'm not saying all men either, because I'm sure there's some unemotional women raised kids with no emotions, but you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so what? Will, can you hear us? I think Will been going in and out. No, he froze. No, Will been having some issues with his computer though. But I want to show this other slide though, because it goes a little bit more into this thing and breaks it down a little bit more. Okay, this one here, motivation. It says being driven by internal factors, intrinsic motivation, such as a passion for the work itself, or a desire to achieve a high personal standard, rather than solely by external rewards like money or status. So, oh, wait a minute, I think I skipped one. Yeah, here we go. Self-management, that's the one. So it's saying that emotional intelligence has a lot to do with managing yourself. And I think that's really one of the reasons why I really wanted to kind of go into this, because I think all of us need some self-management, you know, which is the ability to control or redirect your own disruptive emotions and impulses. I'm gonna say that again. It says the ability to control or redirect your own disruptive emotions and impulses. This involves pausing to think before acting, adapting to change, and maintaining composure under stress. Now that's kind of deep, you know, because like we were talking about the scenario, when you're in an argument or in a conversation with a person and you can't control your own emotions, your emotions just overtake you. And we don't practice self-control to the point to where anybody can just knock you off your square at any given moment. All they got to know is what buttons to push with you in order to get you going off the rails. You know, I had a friend that told me once, he said in grammar school, the kids were so mean that they used to put tacks in kids' chairs when they went to the bathroom, and when they would come back and they would sit down. That must have happened to you, Vanessa.
No, but I remember that happened in school. I remember that. Yeah,
I won't say it happened to me. I probably was on the other side of that when I was a kid.
That's a shame. That's a shame. She needs to be off the podcast right now.
Right,
she can't control her emotions.
Right. So when they sat down,
I'm not lying. I'm just saying.
It's okay.
I wouldn't have told nobody that. No.
But my point is that he was telling me this, and when he came back to sit down in his chair, he saw the chat, right? And he sat down on it, but he didn't jump up like everybody expected him to do. He just sat there. You see what I'm saying? Nobody got what they was expecting. If he had a jump,
so you think that was emotional intelligence? You think that was emotional intelligence?
No, he was just being stubborn as hell. That's what.
I mean, it's kind of an intelligent thing. It's kind of a smart thing to do.
Exactly.
But
they didn't get the emotion. I mean, they didn't get the emotional reaction that they was expecting.
Right. So that was intelligent on his part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's practicing that when you don't give people the reaction that they are looking for when they say something that pushes a button of yours. In one of our shows, we were talking about triggers. Remember, we was talking about being triggered, and how certain words trigger us, and how the way you say something triggers us.
Certain words, certain people.
Well, we know what people you talking about.
Yes. So, but does all this emotional from your readings and what you gathered, because that number 2 kind of went back to what was said before Darlene interjected and said it all emotional intelligence ain't about being triggered in anger. So when, all of your steps or all of these not steps, whatever you call them, your 1s and 2s, whatever, are they all are they all geared towards or supports the triggers in the negative way, or is there some that supports emotional intelligence from another perspective? Not, are they all geared towards sounding like everything is because you act out of control and you need to control yourself? Are they all like that? All your points, that's what I'll call them. And, okay, let me finish before I finish. Let me say this because I was thinking it. Oh my God, it almost went out my head. I was thinking it. Okay, no, go ahead. It'll come back.
Okay. No, I wanted to answer your question. None of them deals with emotional intelligence from a negative perspective, because
it sounds like it when it's saying that you got to fix yourself to keep from being upset, or you got to, I'm just so that
but
it's
that's
not
a
negative.
thing.
I'm saying, but are they answering positively to all negative situations? That's what I'm asking. Or does it talk about anything? Does it talk about anything like Darlene said? Does it talk about any of that?
I understand what you're talking about, Brenda. I think we were the ones that were bringing up examples that had something to do with something negative or anger provoking. His
point 2 that he just showed us does too. It does too. That point 2 did. It showed us that too.
Well, it was saying about controlling them, didn't it? Say controlling.
Right, pausing before acting.
Composure, but it doesn't mean like negative composure.
And maintaining composure under stress.
Yes.
To redirect your own disruptive emotions and impulses. Now what?
Disruptive is the key word.
Yeah.
Right. So it's basically saying it's talking about how emotional intelligence is what we use in order to keep our emotions in check.
Okay.
That's what we use in order to keep them in check. You see, instead of just allowing our emotions to control us and fly off the handle and allow our feelings and all these other things, there has to be some form of identifying when your emotions begin to take over. There's something that happens with us when we get triggered by something. You feel something. It's like a warning signal, almost like a fire not extinguisher, those fire alarms. When the smoke get in the house, it starts boop, boop, boop. Before the fire comes, that's the alarm. I think we eternally get something right before we snap out. When somebody triggers us, we feel it already. But the thing that happens is we don't try to control it. We just go right with it. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's what this is talking about. When you feel yourself about to step outside of your character, I guess that's a better way of saying it, because I think somebody said earlier it's about your character and things of that nature. When you feel yourself being pulled outside of your character, that's when you're supposed to be trying to use some kind of emotional intelligence to keep yourself in line with your personality and your character. I could be a pastor. Well, I am a pastor, but I would look totally out of my character. Somebody pushed my buttons and tricked me, and I just started going off. You MF and some B, I'm gonna put my foot so far up your MF and butt, and people would be looking at me like, oh my God.
Yeah, because that's how I'm looking at you now. How do you know all those words?
It takes practice, bro. You have to practice.
Okay, all right. Because emotionally over here, I was like, oh no.
You see what I'm saying? But hey, even that was emotional intelligence, because I didn't say the real word. I said MF and B, You see what I'm saying?
And I knew all those. Oh.
But are you saying that is it going to be self-control? I mean, self-control and the intelligent part being separate or together? Or are we saying something like hurt people? So if we're saying emotional intelligence, are we saying that we identify that somebody's hurt and they just let me come from a different angle? Am I intelligent enough to know that I need to be more aggressive or more calm
Or less?
to identify that they just hurt? And I'm trying to see if what we're trying to get to is it saying self-control and is self-control and intelligence the same thing, or are they separate? Or?
Yes. See, remember here where it says the ability to control or redirect your own disruptive emotions. See, what it's saying here is that, like what I was saying, when you get triggered, you know you triggered before you go off. You know it, you feel it. It's all in your being. Your whole body starts. I don't know what the feeling is. Maybe it's like heat. Or you get hot. But you know this. So this is the moment where you're supposed to now check yourself, not check the other person. A lot of times we be quick to check the other person. We have to check ourselves first in order to be in a position using emotional intelligence to be able to help that other person off the ledge. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? No?
Yeah.
Not a little bit.
The emotional intelligence, okay, so what I was trying to say is, like that second sentence said, to learn to react to disruptive behavior. Just like Darlene has said, we can react to positive behavior too, when someone's hurting or when somebody just needs to be heard. We should be emotionally intelligent to see that too. Some people have to learn that. I'll say in relationships with girls and guys, in relationships, if your guy cannot understand, if he can't see something in you needs his attention, then I would call him, and he may not be that in every area, but that to me, he would be unemotional, no intelligence with his emotional at that point. And what I was going to say earlier was this just me. When you say EI, or when I hear emotional intelligence, me with my 65-year-old self automatically thinks, because this is new that I'm hearing in the last years or so, or year, really, not even years ago. So to me, I automatically, y'all, don't get it. Not like I wouldn't get it if I sat down like we're talking about it, but it just bypasses me, because to me, it's almost like AI. And I know it's just because of the initials, but to me, it's like everything is being shortened and talked about over social media and planting things in our heads and all of that. Some people are emotional intelligent. Some people still don't know the meaning of emotional intelligence, and they're still doing things backwards. But because that is out there in social media, EI, emotional intelligence, people hearing it, going around, to me, that just goes right by me. I'm talking with you guys. I understand what you're saying. It gives me thought to better correct myself with certain people in certain situations. Just this little bit of time has told me that, and I hope it helps someone else. But me, at my age, living these times right now, the only thing I see with emotional intelligence that would be really, really good, if some way we could get that across, is the stuff that we're dealing with the ICE people, the people getting taken away one day thinking it might be us. If we can emotionally and intelligently have emotions about that, because some people are not really telling what they really feel. Some people are freaking out, thinking, because, people keep saying it could be us. Don't get excited about it being them. It could be Black people next and all of that. So if we could really, that's why I was asking, was your talk tonight coming only from the basis of when things are disruptive, we should be intelligent enough to deal with them, or just when there's just other stuff and life and, death and things around us? That's what I was asking. Is it coming all?
Yeah, I believe all of it. It's when you're dealing with life, because life can kick your butt too. Life can trigger you too. You know what I'm saying? But there's a way that you're supposed to handle things, and we're not handling them well in our lives. So even though this term emotional intelligence is a made up word, this word didn't exist 20 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago, this word didn't exist. They just made it up. You see what I'm saying? And then they put a definition to it, just like the other word we was talking about the other day that's made up. Self-heal. What is that? Self-healing or self-help or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's another made up word. That word didn't exist 20 years ago. Nobody's talking about that stuff. So this stuff that they're making up, and they're giving us a definition for it in order for us to now be able to operate, based on their definition. Real quick, we got a couple of people in the chat that had some comments, and I want to address their comments real quick. We had Carl made a comment. He said, a man that's in tune with a woman's feelings. Because when we was talking about how emotional intelligence can be a man that also knows how to deal with the woman's feelings. And that's what Carl was kind of saying. We kind of got that too, Carl. Then we have Elaine. Elaine said that anger is an emotion too. Like when I was saying, that's the only time you've seen emotion from men is when they got angry. That's it. And she's correct. That's an emotion. But that's normally the only one. That's the only one you normally seen from men back in the day. But Brenda says she's seen some more, which I don't disagree with that. But I guess I'm saying the majority, and there's always going to be a small percentage that don't fit that category. So Elaine was saying that, and then we have a young lady, Miss Londa. She said, is it having a special emotion, acknowledging the specific emotion? Is it having a specific emotion, acknowledge the emotion, and respond to it instead of reacting to it? Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what that is. She hit it. Yeah. She hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
When those emotions creep up, and we know when they're coming, whether it's anger, frustration, whatever it is, we feel it coming. Acknowledge it. And you do that by saying, well, whatever they're doing, they're about to make me angry. Or they're about to piss me off. They're about to, you know what I'm saying.
What about they're about to need me? They're about to need me. I need to be ready because they need me.
Well, I don't think that's not being emotionally intelligent. That's just being, what they call it, humanitarian, or no, what's the other word for that? When you care about what other people are going through. When you see a person going through something and you say, hey, I need, these people are going to need me. So I wouldn't consider that being emotionally intelligent, because unless the person is attacking you, and then your response is, they're going to need me, so I'm just going to chill out.
Well, be careful about that one, because they did touch on it with one of your pointers. That's kind of like as if she were being empathic to their needs.
Right.
And it's going to touch on empathy in a minute. But I just wanted to say something that I just thought about. Darlene, when you were saying that, is it sometimes we can relate about emotional intelligence sometimes from things other than anger. I just thought about something that people do a lot of that triggers us sometimes, and it's when they're being sarcastic sometimes. So they aren't yelling and screaming, they're just doing little things to bait you into something. So I think we show intelligence when we keep our calm and don't fall into that trap. And sometimes they do it with, like, they'll laugh. They'll be laughing and saying something like it's a joke sometimes. And we all know that sometimes people use some comic stuff to get to us sometimes. So I don't think maybe it's not all the time like in anger or frustration. Sometimes it's that sarcasm, and sometimes it's like they're coming at us from a comedic standpoint, but they really mean what they're saying. They just put a little ha-ha to it, and they feel like it's gonna go over better, but it's up to us to stay calm and not react to them.
Yeah. But do y'all remember back in the day when somebody said your mama? That was fighting. Those were fighting words. You know what I'm saying?
So it changed. It's
No,
not.
I just said your mama back. I just said your mama back. That's all. Your mama back.
Yeah, but then they said something. Yeah, your mama so big when she sits around the house.
Yeah, right. They didn't do that.
No,
They didn't do that.
you know how it goes.
Exactly, because now it's like they're trying to go for jokes, but they really mean it.
Right. And so now, are you gonna let them take you there?
No,
See,
they talk about my mama.
See, there's also this thing in society, and y'all let me know if y'all agree with this. There's this thing in society that says if you don't accept a fight, if you walk away or try to talk yourself out of a fight, use a punk. You were scared, you know, or that person punked you or something to that effect. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we're being molded into being triggered and snapping out. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't snap out, then you allow some form of disrespect. That person disrespected you, and you didn't do nothing about it. She said your mama, you didn't do nothing about it. You see what I'm saying?
That would be me. That would be me. That would be me. I punked out, walked away.
I think it depends too, because depending on like who it was that you were going back and forth with. For me, sometimes I don't care what you say. You can say whatever. You better not touch me. When you touch me, that's when it's gonna be on. You can talk to you blue in the face, because 9 out of 10, again, I was that kid that if you said something crazy, you just made me start talking crazy too. So now we were going back and forth, and again, like as you grow, you see. Cause exactly.
You want to say something, V?
I was just saying a lot of that. Yeah, I got you. I'm here now. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Got me? Yeah, I was just say a lot of that stuff be ego driven.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think that's a big point. I was thinking about the whole time as we talking. I'm just thinking about ego.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing with the to even learn emotional intelligence and stuff is killing the ego. You know what I mean? This ego driven in this ego driven world. You know what I'm saying? The ego has to be put to death.
Well, let me ask you this now.
You know,
a lot of people can say that's your self-defense mechanism. So are we just supposed to be laying down our self-defense and just let anybody say anything to us, do anything to us?
Not at all. I was going to say anything till you see what we talking about. We out to saying now your mamas and all that stuff and how we was. It's like those are words. Mm-hmm. But then Vanessa mentioned something about long as you don't put hands on me.
Right.
That's another thing. You know what I mean? Like if somebody was to pull it with me now, I'm experienced now to know like, hey, that's my ego. If you saying words to me and I don't want you to have the last word, I don't want you to feel like you just punked me or I got punked. I'm smart enough like that. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, no, that's ego right there. I'll walk that off. You can have the last word all you want. You know what I mean? But now, if I'm boxed in, you know what I mean? And they, it's one of them things where it's like, hey, you touch me, or I feel like, I feel threatened like that. Then, I mean, you have to do what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like, like that. Right. But like I said, I think a lot of that stuff is just ego stuff, man, with like people with words and all that. And, you just ain't going to let nobody have the last word on you or say certain things. You know what I'm saying? Even stuff, think about it. Something silly is like, yo mama what? You know what I'm saying? Right. But we was ready to fight over that, and kill over that. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it, before you even get to the to practice this emotional intelligence we talking about and stuff, I just think the ego, you have to acknowledge that you had that ego there, and it has to be laid to the side. You have to learn how to let that go.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let's look. Carl says, to move forward.
Right. Carl, one of our listeners, he said we have to sometimes, as men, take a step back and allow God to talk to our hearts when it comes to being emotionally attentive and or intelligent to a woman's needs. I agree with that, Carl. And that's basically what we're saying, that we have to really be smart about this thing. That's even what V is saying. You have to be smart about this thing and not let words be the driving force that pushes you off the deep end. You know what I'm saying? We have to really be smart about that. Miss Londa, she says the problem is bigger than the emotion. The solution is bigger than the emotion. Understanding what the real issue is in the moment, conversation will direct you. I guess you meant direct your response a little differently. Yeah. So if you understand what the real situation is, like I've been in I've been in arguments with people that I know were hurt. You know what I'm saying? And they're looking for an outlet for their pain. And I just happen to be there. And they'll say little stuff to me and talk about me, and I never liked you nowhere. They'll say stuff that they don't even believe. They'll just make up stuff to try to hurt you because they are hurt. You see what I'm saying? And then if you recognize that, probably just hugging that person would cause that person to probably start breaking down and crying. But a person that is not emotionally intelligent, they would just fight fire with fire. They wouldn't even see the fact that she was in pain or he was in pain, and that person needed some kind of consoling or whatever because of something they've gone through. What else? Hey, we're about to get into closing thoughts, you guys, because we're about to run out of time here. Let me see where we at. Okay. Miss Londa, she had another comment. She said it's okay to come back to address an issue after you processed it. Well, I mean, about that. I mean, because if you done already did the do, ain't no coming back from it. You done snapped out. They snapped on you. You snapped out. After it's all over, you might, like, I guess what you're saying, after it's all over, you can think about it, and maybe that won't happen again.
And no, you can come back after that. You can come back after that.
Don't put yourself in that situation. Just walk away from it, then address it later. So it's if you are going off on me, I'm just going to be like, we can talk about this when we can talk better and you have a clear head, or when you calm down.
Or even after you snapped out. Emotional intelligence is even after you snapped out. You can go back to somebody and apologize for snapping out and try to reconcile something. That's part of emotional intelligence. That's about part of being smarter, that because the other person probably thinks you're gonna just be mad and walk away and that be it. Sometimes we got to come back I just think we as a people living in the times that we're living in now, like I said, emotional intelligence was like just a little thing to me, but it's real and it's needed for us to survive the times we're living in. We got to be intelligent with our thinking, our talking, and our actions. We got to be, because if we be going off willy-nilly and always upset, man, look at what is that going to get us?
You're
as
exactly
a people. What that's gonna get us?
1,000% correct.
What?
I say you're 1,000% correct. So
That's
anybody
my
have
closing
any
thought.
closing thoughts? Oh, that's your closing thought. Okay.
That's my closing thought, man.
Vanessa, you got anything you want to close us out with?
No, I just think we need to work more on being focused to stay composed during these times when we're having conversations or issues with one another, that we don't fly off the handle or we don't let things go too far. If we just focus on self-control and self-awareness, we'll deal with it in our own time and in our own way.
Most definitely. V, you got anything you want to close us out with?
Yes, sir. It's okay to show your emotions, but control your emotions. Don't allow them to control you.
Amen. Yes, sir. Darlene, what you got for us?
I agree with V and Vimon and Vanessa, the self-control part, the awareness. I think just putting the word intelligent in there, I truly believe that we just be kind, just be considerate to one another.
Be a
little growth in there.
Yeah. Empathy. I think that's the word you're looking for. Empathizing with people, you know. And for my closing thought, I really believe that in order to teach a person how to do something, they have to see somebody doing it. You know, so I encourage each and every one of us, and even those that are listening to us on YouTube, to practice this thing called emotional intelligence. Practice not allowing ourselves to be triggered and not allowing ourselves to be angered and people getting under our skin. And the best way to do that is knowing yourself. I know when a person pushes me too far. Everybody know. And you know when they're getting to the point where they're about to push you to where it's about to be hands. Bernie Mac used to say furniture moving and stuff, you know. You know when you get there. And that's when you have to reel yourself in and begin to use logic and intelligence in order to deal with that situation and not emotion.
Good job. Good job.
Yolanda had a comment, don't let nobody disturb your peace. Yes, ma'am. And then she said, you know, that's my wife, so I got to get her comment in here. You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all know kindness and love, show mercy. Amen, bam. Most definitely. Hey, thank you guys for being on. Everybody, I really appreciate everybody that was watching and listening to us on YouTube. Saranda, Yolanda, Carl, Miss Londa, Elaine. Thank you guys for being on. We'll be back next week. And if you guys got some subject that you want us to discuss and have a conversation about, put it in the comment section that you want us to talk about this or you want us to talk about that, and we'll see if we can get that on. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, thank you all for being on once again. Great conversation. Until next week. Oh wait a minute, Will had fell off. Where's Will? There you go. Will, let's see if Will can hear us. Oh well. He's gonna have to get on his phone next week. So with that being said,
right.
hey, until next week, you guys, we out of here. Peace and hair grease.
Peace out.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. We look forward to see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. We also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will push our podcast to more viewers. But until then, subscribe also for a peaceful mind. Your activity will reflect that peace.